Hello everyone. In this video we are going to discuss plate load test, which is a field method for the estimation of bearing capacity of the soil. The allowable bearing pressure can be determined by conducting a plate load test at the site. To conduct a plate load test, a pit of size 5 bp into 5 bp is excavated, where bp is the size of the plate. It is excavated to a depth equal to the depth of the foundation, which is equal to df. The size of the plate is usually 0.3 meters square. It is made up of steel and is 25 mm thick. A central hole of size bp by bp is excavated in the pit. The depth of the central hole is obtained from the following relation. dp by bp is equal to df by bf. That means dp is equal to bp by bf into df, where bf is the width of the pit, bp is the size of the plate. For conducting the plate load test, the plate is placed in the central hole and the load is applied by means of hydraulic jack. Here in this figure, we can see that the load is applied by the hydraulic jack. The reaction to the jack is provided by means of reaction beam, which is provided at the top of the reaction beam and is supported by columns on the either side of the pit. Sometimes trusses are also used instead of reaction beam to take up the reaction. Alternatively, a loaded platform can be used to provide reaction. A setting of load of 7 kN per meter square is applied first, which is then released after some time. Then tie load is applied in increments of about 20% of the estimated safe load or 1/10 of the ultimate load. The settlement is recorded after 1, 5, 10, 20, 40 and 60 minutes and further after an interval of 1 hour. Thus, hourly observations are continued for clayey soils until the rate of the settlement is less than 0.2 mm per hour. The test is conducted until failure or at least until the settlement of 25 mm has been occurred. The ultimate load for the plate, which is denoted as QUP, is indicated by a break on the log-log plot between the load intensity Q and the settlement S. If the break is not well defined, the ultimate load is taken as that force corresponding to settlement of 1/5 of the plate width, which is BP. On the neutral plot, the ultimate load is obtained from the intersection of the tangents drawn as shown. So, this is the load settlement curve where x-axis indicates Q and y-axis indicates settlement S, and the ultimate load is indicated by point QU, which is obtained by the intersection of these two tangents. Now let us discuss the uses of plate load test. The first use is the ultimate bearing capacity of the proposed foundation can be obtained using plate load test, and for that following relations are used. For clayey soil, QUF is equal to QUP, that is ultimate capacity of plate obtained is equal to ultimate bearing capacity of foundation. And for sandy soil, QUF is equal to QUP into BF upon BP, where BF is the foundation width. Second use is the plate load test can also be used to determine settlement for a given intensity of loading. The relation between the settlement of plate and that of the foundation for the same load intensity are given below. For clayey soil, SF is equal to SP into BF upon BP, where SP is obtained from the load intensity settlement curve for Q0. For sandy soil, SF is equal to SP into BF into BP plus 0.3 divided by BP into BF plus 0.3 square, where BF is the width of the foundation in meters and BP is the width of the plate in meters. The third use of plate load test is for the designing of a shallow foundation for an allowable settlement of SF, and for this a trial and error procedure is adopted. First of all, a value of BF is assumed and the value of Q0 is obtained as Q0 is equal to Q upon AF, where AF is the area of footing and Q is the load. For the computed value of Q0, the plate settlement SP is determined from the load settlement curve, which is obtained from the plate load test. The value of SF is computed using the following equation. SF is equal to SP into BF by BP, and using following equation if it is sand. SF is equal to SP into BF into BP plus 0.3 divided by BP into BF plus 0.3 square. The computed value of SF is compared with the allowable settlement. The procedure is repeated till the computed value is equal to allowable settlement. The plate load test can also be used for the determination of the influence factor I using equation S is equal to 1 minus mu square divided by ES into I into QB. Here the figure shows the plot between settlement and the load QB. The slope of the line is equal to 1 minus mu square upon ES into I. Now let us discuss limitations of the plate load test. The first limitation is time effect. The results of the plate load test reflect the strength and settlement characteristics of the soil within the pressure bulbs. As the pressure bulb depend upon the size of the loaded area, it is much deeper for the actual foundation as compared to that of plate. The plate load test does not truly represent the actual condition of the soil if the soil is not homogeneous and isotropic to a large depth. So, here we can see that the settlement characteristics of the soil can only be observed if the observed by the plate load test if it lies within the pressure bulb. So here we can see that for plate load test the pressure bulb is much smaller than the one for the actual footing. So the characteristics given by the plate load test which represent the smaller pressure bulb will not be similar to the actual soil condition if the soil is not homogeneous. The second limitation is scale effect. The ultimate bearing capacity of saturated clay is independent of the size of the plate. But for cohesionless soil, it increases with the size of the plate. To reduce the scale effect, it is desirable to repeat the plate load test with plates of 2 or 3 different sizes and extrapolate the bearing capacity of the actual foundation and take the average of the values obtained. Third effect is time effect. A plate load test is essentially a test of short duration. For clay soil, it does not give the ultimate settlement. The load settlement curve is not truly representative. Next limitation is interpretation of failure load. The failure load is not well defined except in the case of general shear failure. The error of personal interpretation may be involved in other types of failure. Next limitation is reaction load. It is not practicable to provide a reaction more than 250 kilonewton. Hence, the test on a plate of larger than zero point 0.6 meter width is difficult. And last limitation is water table. The level of the water table affects the bearing capacity of sandy soil. If the water table is above the level of the footing, it has to be lowered by pumping before placing the plate. The test should be performed at the water table level if it is within about 1 meter below the footing. Thank you.